Hello Bears members and fans, it's great to be with you to provide an update or a recap of our season, the 2022 season here at the Bears. I'm joined with our chairman Daniel Dixon and head coach Jason Taylor, and we thought this was a great opportunity now that our football season is finished to provide you with an update of the year, but also what we're planning for the season ahead. It's been great that on the field we've been able to get through a full season after a couple of COVID-affected years. It was great to be able to welcome you all back to Bear Park, and I think you would agree that our game day on the field was great with the performances of our teams, but also off the field, our engagement and our game day activation was something that we're really excited about and looking to build on in 2023. From a football perspective, our New South Wales Cup team finished in third place off the back of 4 really great home games at North Sydney Oval. Yes, we had a disappointing final series, and it's something that we've reviewed, and we will look to put things in place to ensure that we can do better next year. But all in all, a third place finish after a couple of disruptive years is something that we're all really pleased and excited about as we look to the new year. Our Harvey Norman Winners team also had a great year, finishing minor premiers, and off the back of that it was pleasing to see that 13 of those girls went on into NRLW teams, and such is the strength of the NRLW competition. It's great to see a great Bears representation there. This year we introduced the Tasha Gale under-19 girls team to our pathway, and whilst only in its first year, we'll look back at that season as a success. A number of our Tasha Gale girls have graduated up into our Harvey Norman's team, and a lot of them will be also returning to join our team again in 2023. At junior reps, again, our Harold Matthews and SG Ball teams pulled on the red and black with pride and gave their all week in and week out, as we would expect. And we're already underway and looking at our season ahead for our junior reps, and we're again looking at a strong showing for our junior rep teams. Our junior league, despite the challenges of wet weather, again had another strong season. Our junior league numbers were great, and the pathway from our junior league through to our junior reps is probably stronger now than it ever has been. As we look at football, and in particular the performances of our New South Wales Cup team, I'll hand over to Jason to give us a bit of a recap from a team's perspective and a football perspective, the season 2022.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. Look, I think the first thing is I'd be lying if I said that I still haven't recovered, or if I said that I have recovered from the way the season ended. The disappointment is still there, and as Gareth said, we've reviewed the season and particularly the end of it, and that there are massive lessons which we've got to learn and ensure that we get better results. From my perspective, the finish to the season wasn't good enough. On the back of the season that had so many positives. It was a bit up and down through the first 3 quarters, and there were times where I was concerned, but the way we finished the season, the 4 games at North Sydney Oval and the performances, we were really ready to move our way into the semi-finals in a great fashion. But there are things that are out of our control that we just have to understand and learn from, and then there are things within our control that we didn't do well enough in those last couple of games. The excitement around the games at North Sydney Oval late in the year, and particularly our last game when we had to score a certain amount of points, like basically 50 points, to get ourselves into third spot on the table. It was what a day that was. It was one of the best days I've had at North Sydney Oval, to be honest, in all my time. To turn up there and deep down, we didn't mention it to the players before the game. A number of them knew, but we had to score these points to get ourselves into that position to finish the season, and it was just unbelievable the way the boys played on that day. And I think the standard of footy that our team showed throughout the year was absolutely superb. So, and that really does set us up for next year in a really positive fashion. And the goal is to improve in those last games of the year and get ourselves into a grand final. That's where we want to be.
As we look to the new season, and from a football perspective, we're now in a period of recruitment and retention. recruitment and retention of our players, our members, our corporate partners, and from the 1st of November we will launch our new 2023 membership program. We're also entering into the final season of our current arrangement with the Sydney Roosters, and they have only a couple of weeks ago informed us that in 2023 they will be entering their own New South Wales Cup team in an effort to bolster their own pathway for their Jersey Flegg and SG Ball players. What does this mean? This means we will still maintain a strong relationship with the Roosters. They've committed to supporting us and our season and our club in 2023, as they have done for the last 4 seasons. They will provide players to us, and they will also provide opportunities for our players to upskill and be part of an NRL program at various times for the year. What does it mean for the Bears? It means that we now more than ever will recruit our own players to ensure we have depth throughout the season, to ensure that we have a strong team week in and week out representing the Bears in the New South Wales Cup. It also means that we will develop our own players, and we've started to do this with the structure of our coaching program for our junior rep teams, with the view that in the long term we'll have more players coming through our junior rep program through to our New South Wales Cup team. From a football perspective, I'll ask Jason to give us his thoughts on how the structure change and the relationship with the Roosters will be in place for 2023 and how it's going to benefit us as a club as we move forward to the season.
Yeah, look, firstly, the relationship is really important, as we've said all along, and first and foremost, our players need a pathway to NRL, which remains there with the Roosters for another 12 months, and the opportunity for our players, Bears signed players, to train with the Roosters is a really big one as well. So those 2 parts are really important, and that they will be maintained for us, which is great. What it means is we're going to need to recruit more players as Bears contracted players. We will be getting less numbers coming back from the Roosters, which isn't perfect, but at the same time there's a real positive that comes along with that, and that is that we have more of our players that are going to play on Saturday or Sunday training with us throughout the week. Anyone who understands how New South Wales Cup works, and it's pretty much for every team in the competition, that you train majority of the week with pretty much half your squad, and then the full-time players filter back into the team later in the week. Sometimes you might get one training session with your whole team, other times you might not get a training session at all. So the real positive out of this adjustment is that we get to train with our players that are going to play, as I say, on the weekend more often. This will build better combinations and build better understanding of game plans, etc. So from a coaching perspective, it really is going to be a bit easier. But the quality of the players that we get back from the Roosters is really important, and we will still be getting some of those guys coming back. And as I say, we've sort of got the best of both worlds there, and I'm excited about the fact that we're going to get to spend more time with these players, and the players are going to be excited about the fact that it is going to improve our performance on the field. It also will give more opportunity and bolster our relationship with the Hills Bulls for guys coming up into our squad. So there's real excitement around the whole thing, and there's a couple of things that we've got to really make sure that we work through in the right fashion to get where we want to get to.
I think it's also important to note that change in the game is happening and not 100% certainty is there. So we're trying to be on the front foot. And I think by us bolstering our side there on our team, it's just going to be having us holding us in a good step for 2023. But unfortunately at the moment, not everyone knows all the ins and outs of the 2023 season. So you're getting it first from us, and we still don't know how the season will look entirely.
Yeah, Gareth, there are still adjustments possibly going to be made to numbers in NRL squads, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of CBA discussions happening at the moment at NRL level. That'll affect the size of NRL squads and the recruitment of NRL clubs, and we still don't know in certain what that looks like as yet. But we're taking an approach now to ensure that from our own club's perspective, we are doing everything we can to ensure we have a strong team and depth across our squad, which is really important to us. Jason touched on the relationship with the Bulls. The relationship with the Bulls is again in place for next year. The Bulls had a terrific season, winning the Rob Massey Cup this year, and again, off the back of our squad and their strong squad coming together, we feel we're going to be in a really strong position as we look to 2023. Whilst we've spoken a lot about football and our success of our teams on the field, it's important to note that in 2022 we had a really successful year off the field as well. Our membership this year increased by 133%, which is a terrific number in the space of 12 months. We look to bolster that even further next season with an ultimate target of getting to 5,000 members, which is something that we need everyone's support on. Our game day attendance, as we mentioned, we welcomed 15,000 people through the gates at North Sydney Oval to Bears games throughout the year. Again, a great number, and that strong into the season with those 4 home games hopefully springboards us into another successful game day in 2023. Our merchandise sales and the strength of our brand has again been terrific, and at this point we've sold over $300,000 worth of merchandise, which is also a great outcome for the club. We've had wonderful support again this year from our corporate partners, and we've been able to welcome new corporate partners into the Bears family, and we look forward to welcoming them all back again next season. Alongside all of these plans, we're also working really hard to position ourselves to be the next NRL team. And there's been a lot said in the media at different times throughout the year, and the positive side of that is every time the 18th team is mentioned, the Bears are associated. So I'm going to ask Daniel to give us an update on where things are at and our plans as we move forward.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. We're very happy the media talks about the Bears, and most importantly, they seem to be only talking about the Bears, which is fantastic. Last week there was a talk about the $15 million backing by our investors. We've concentrated on this because we felt before it was probably our downfall, making sure we've got the support corporately and also from investors, people who are Bears fans and Bears heritage, very, very important for us, and who also want to invest in the Bears being back in the NRL. So that's one part of it, and that's going to be a continual program ongoing. We are in dialogue with the NRL, and most importantly, they haven't yet announced the 18th team. What we should all be doing is embracing and getting behind the 17th team launch next year. We all want for that to be successful, and we feel shortly after that the 18th team would be knocking. And I'm telling you now, we're doing a lot of work around the 18th team positioning. I don't want anyone to get fixated on one location. We did a great job last year with the Bears logo. We'll always be the North Sydney Bears. We'll always have that deep, rich history and heritage in North Sydney. We do know about the NRL have a thirst to grow the game and move that around. We also know how much they love the Bears brand. So from us, we are being patient, but I want you to know we are doing a lot of work to make sure we are positioned well. We're in close dialogue with the NRL, and basically we've been asked to sit tight for a moment, which we're happy to do, and we're making sure we're getting everything we need to be the strongest, best option. I ask you to all think about it. When you see the media, the Bears are spoken about every time when it comes to the 18th team. Again, I'll be repetitious, but do not get fixated on one location. We're not, and I don't want anyone else to. We're going to make sure we've got our very, very strong non-negotiables. The brand is very strong. We've got deep history and heritage, and we're going to make sure that we do the best thing by the brand, and we won't be selling it out for anyone. Really excited for the 23 season, as Jason and Gareth just went through, and more importantly, we're looking forward to everyone getting behind us. I know Gareth touched on it. One of our big metrics, and I see it in all the social platforms, is for everyone to become a Bears member, and that's what we really want. 2023 is going to be exciting, and most importantly, we do feel it's the year the NRL is going to start looking for their 18th partner, and it's what you all know, we're going to be there.
As we approach November, our teams will be back training. Our junior rep teams, Harold Matthews, SG Ball, Tasha Gale, will be back. Our Harvey Norman women's team and our New South Wales Cup team all start pre-season in November. The seasons for our junior reps and Harvey Norman women start in February, so it won't be long until we get to see some football play. And for our New South Wales Cup team, their season will start in March, and we look forward to welcoming them back to Bear Park in early to mid-April. Off the field, our team is working really hard to make our game day even better, to bolster that activation and to create a great experience for all of our members and fans. A new merchandise range will be coming out soon with a lot more new styles and new items, and I'm sure you're all going to be as excited as we are for what's coming in regards to our merchandise. And most importantly, our membership launches on the 1st of November. We encourage you all to join, and I think from a player's perspective, I'll ask JT, how important it is for the players and the team to have a full North Sydney Oval and lots of members.
Oh, look, the players, every player who pulls on a North Sydney Bears jersey, we talk to them about the history, right? We teach them about the history of the club, and the history of the club is so massive. But because it's been 20 odd years, these guys, they're only 20 themselves, right? They're in their early 20s, and they don't know of the Bears, but they certainly do once they come into the fold, and they just love the passion and the history. But what strikes me is we always sort of talk to the members and fans. You're not a fan unless you're a member. We need these people on board, and the idea of the Bears coming back, everyone's loving that idea, but you're not really supporting us if you're not a member, because we need you as a member, and the players feel it. They feel the atmosphere at North Sydney Oval, and when they can see the numbers of the members, they pull on a jersey and it just means so much more.
I think also, as we look at moving towards our 5,000 numbers, we've come from a lower point, we're up near 2,000, which is an awesome effort, but getting to that 5,000 point, we all remember North Sydney Oval in the 90s with 15,000, 20,000 people there, and we haven't had that at our games. If we're going to move into that, we're going to start really putting the runs on the board, getting fans into members and getting members to the games, because that creates atmosphere, it sends a very good message. Believe me, I send photos every single time our hill is full. That goes to the NRL to make sure they know what the Bear Park hill looks like when it's full with members and fans. So let's get behind that. I don't think 5,000 is a tall ask at all. We've got 48,500 people across all of our digital platforms. We just need you to nudge and wink and get our people on board to become members for the 2023 season and moving forward.